Okay, welcome everybody. In this video, I want to talk about the summarize function from the dplyr package. The summarize function is often used in conjunction with the group by function that we just talked about in the previous video. And since the summarize function often goes hand in hand with the group by function, it's going to be useful for us to kind of string together a couple of actions, a couple of these functions using the pipe as we've been doing so far. So in the code cell below, we're going to do a couple of things. Um, we're going to take the storms data frame. We're going to read that into the group by function. So remember, like the first thing that we input into these functions in dplyr is the data frame name. Then we input column variables with their names, not with quotes. So next I indicate what variables are we going to group the storms data by, and I can group by more than one. So here I'm going to group the data together by status and month. So again, this is going to create lots of groups. So I'm going to have a group for tropical depression in June. I'm going to have a different group for tropical depressions in July and so on. Then I'm going to have a group for hurricanes in June and then hurricanes in July and so on. Then I'm going to take that output after we've grouped the data in that way, and I'm going to input that into the summarize function to compute different statistics for each group. So for example, for hurricanes that occurred in June, what's the mean wind speed for all of those observations? For hurricanes that occurred in June, what's the median wind speed of all of those observations? For hurricanes that occurred in June, count up how many observations are in that group. So I can define really any observation or any calculation, any computation that I want to perform on all of the observations that fall within that group. And it's going to do this calculation separately for each of the groups that we've defined. So recall over here, we did this group by, and depending on how many groups we have, it's going to create these calculations in each of the groups that we've determined. And so if I run this code cell, it's going to create way too much output, but I just wanted to leave this up here just to see what the code looks like. Down below, I'm going to add just one more additional pipe into a print command just so we get more concise output. This last function over here you don't need. The only reason why I have this here is to make what is displayed on screen more readable. So you can see what gets output here is we have disturbances in June. This is telling me what the mean wind speed was, what the median wind speed was, and how many disturbances occurred in June. Then we have a second group, which is disturbances that occurred in July. This is the mean wind speed of those observations, the median wind speed of those observations, and this is the total number of disturbances that occurred in July. And this does those three calculations for all of these groups that we created. And again, our groups, we have a separate group for each status and each month in our data frame. Okay, so I will stop here, and in the next video, we can practice working with a number of these functions so far from the dplyr package to do a similar exercise. Thanks.